Hi there. So I am continuing to look at some of the recent statuses that I've posted on my social media groups over the last 2 or 3 weeks. So this is the next one, and it's kind of related to the last one. So the last post was me saying I embrace division of humanity at this point. And I discussed that and explained what I mean by that. I had a lot of questions. But one of the questions about that I responded to in another post. So I'm going to read out that post. But I don't necessarily have to analyze it because I did already analyze this whole thing in the last video. So if you want to know more about this, go back and watch my previous video. But I'll just read this out and the response. So the question is, your recent post, Magenta, about embracing division is very confusing. Are we not all one now? Totally understandable question. So here is my reply. Within the higher dimensions, we are always one, alone. For there is only one soul, source, God, and we are that. Yet here in physical third dimensional reality, we have been infiltrated. A group who do not want our best interests, health, love, light, fire, creation, and ascension, have fragmented us and our natural immunity, and thus unity. For our immunity is one and is connected with telepathically and energetically. Therefore, in order to survive and thrive, we must embrace division and create new boundaries. All we are doing is shifting the event horizon of our own energy fields to allow in the aligned and reject the threat, like the plasma cell of self that we are. Due to the fact that we are all one, in response to your question, we are not in fact segregating ourselves from our other selves. We are simply shifting geometries. Our circle of love does not change, for we have unconditional love for all and everyone, and we hold the compassion to go with it. What we are doing is making that circle of integration and telepathic union with other selves smaller to include the like vibrational twin and trinity soul family, whilst creating boundaries against the Borg minions who have chosen to be assimilated and who wish to assimilate us because they are lost in the false program. We must have unity, however. Therefore, what we are doing, which culminates at the Platinum Ray Ascension Eclipse Supermoon Stargate on May 26th, 2021, is creating an ever stronger unified field with all those who know they are all and everything within their own infinite unified fields as unified selves. This is the alchemical unification of humanity, the natural result and consequence of the great bifurcation. Everything backfires. Everything the controllers do flip to the opposite. Embrace the division and you become more unified than ever with your twin and trinity soul family. As the Nine have said, these are our most challenging times, but also our most connected times. If you see this as segregating one group of humanity and only embracing the other group, then you've missed the point entirely. This is about the full and total unification with 0 point, and at the time of the full and total lunar eclipse, this is the manifested equal and opposite reaction. In that place and space, there can only ever be unity with all and every soul, for each soul is a mirrored reflection and alternate self aspect of all that is you. So, in answer to your question, yes, we are all still one and will always only ever be that. Yet on the physical level, it's going to look like the complete opposite for a while. Spiritual bypassing is another form of resistance, and you will never find true unity upon that path. Understand this, process this, know this, for it will serve you most well in the coming times ahead. And I signed this Magenta, Pixie, and the Nine, As you can probably tell, the 9 assisted me with this response. That isn't all me that answered that. That is information from the 9. So I mention here how this unification is connected to the total eclipse supermoon, which occurred on May the 26th. But there is also a connection in a different way with the solar eclipse. And at the time of recording this, it's actually June the 9th. So we're just moving into that energy now. And that solar eclipse energy is tomorrow on June 10th. By the time you see this video, it will probably be past that. But I'd just like to say, if you wanted to have more information about how this subject matter connects with this solar eclipse, then I have just done an interview with Aloise Surfleet Middleton, and I will post that interview up on my groups. In fact, by the time you see this, I may well have already have posted that interview. But if not, I talk about this subject matter and how it connects to the solar eclipse, how this unification experience that we're going through connects to the solar eclipse as well as the lunar eclipse, because we have this moon energy, which is subconscious and female, and this solar energy, which is conscious and male, and we are integrating all of these aspects within us. So go check out the interview I did with Aloise Surfleet Middleton, because we talk about this in that interview. So I don't think I really need to analyze that anymore. Now, the only other question that came up from people about this was they'd heard of a twin soul. What is a trinity soul? So that is a really long, convoluted answer to actually explain this. But if I could just say that a twin soul, how you would manifest the twin soul on a physical level, is another human being that is in alignment with you, is resonating with you, or is bringing opportunity into your reality for something that you need to learn or integrate or understand. That person is bringing that into your reality through their own experience and energy and shining a light on that for you. So we would be looking here at twin flame. A trinity soul is the connection between the twin souls that are both simultaneously embracing the higher self, higher dimensional energy. So you have an apex between them. So that would be an activated twin flame couple who are both connecting with the same higher guidance. That is more rare. But there's more to it than that. There are soul groups that incarnate together in groups of 3. So that doesn't necessarily mean that they will be in a relationship with 3 people, although sometimes Trinity souls will manifest like that, but often it's mother, father, child. It could be brother, sister, and father. There can be any combination of 3, and you can have soul groups that are all really close friends that don't actually have relationships with each other alongside a twin soul or a trinity soul. So there are many ways of looking at the way a trinity soul expresses itself. And then there are groups that incarnate in groups of 7, groups of 5, groups of 12, groups of 9. So there are multiple ways individuals incarnate into different types of soul groups, and it's all for their own experience that they need to learn or go through or integrate within the reality, the incarnation that they have just chosen for themselves. Everything is about giving you opportunity to integrate something, experience something, or learn something that's going to take you into a position in the future where you can deliver that learning to others for their own opportunity or integration or growth. That's how a healthy society works, incarnating into these aware, connected group souls. And there are other ways of looking at that as well. For example, a twin soul can be another quantum aspect of your own self, and a trinity soul can be 3 aspects of self. And the other way to liken that is to the DNA activation. So that the twin activation, the doppelganger DNA, is the sort of quantum mirrored match to the double helix, how the double helix goes quantum. You are moving into the memories of all the quantum cells, and then the trinity. The trinity spiral within is the trifurcation, and then that is when you are taken into a position where you are aware of the trinity, and how three is just as important in your reality as two. So you move out of duality into this sort of more triadic expression within your own spiritual path. And then there is multi-location, where you have multiple points of perspective, and then omnipresence. So these are all stages of DNA activation, which are also the same thing as the soul groups, just different ways of explaining our evolution in a spiritual, quantum, multidimensional sense. So a lot there in that statement. If you want to go and read these and examine them more, then they are posted on my Telegram group, my MeWe group, and I'm pretty sure that most of them are also on Instagram and on Gab and Minds as well. Most of them I post on Gab and Minds. So I'll go on to another post here and read that to you. Okay, and this was the post. There is a misconception in the spiritual community that if you decide to limit your exposure to those who drink the Jezebel apple juice, that you do this out of fear. Either fear of the pathogen or fear of the rogue signal and physical particles emanating from the apple juice, or fear of ridicule, of being ostracized. It is, sorry, fear of ridicule or of being ostracized. It's very important for spiritually aware individuals to realize that boundaries can be created firmly from sovereignty without any fear whatsoever. Preserving your health and standing strong in your power is an act of bravery, confidence, sovereignty, and strength. And that is not fear. However, fear itself has its place also, and it is not some terrible sin to be eliminated at all costs, believing you are simply not spiritual if you have any fear. It's quite natural to fear the Borg AI signal and the attempt at spreading an artificial rewrite of your DNA to you via your work colleagues or your loved ones. As long as the fear does not incapacitate you or control you, then it's useful. Why? Because it's a message. It's letting you know that something is not right. Something is out of alignment. That fear is there for a reason, as it is to be integrated, not buried, not ignored, or magicked away with a high vibe sprinkle of pixie dust. And you know, I have nothing against pixie dust. We who are aware and awake and ascending must unify with our beloved soul group more than ever. Casting stones from the top of the mountain to those doing the integration work on the ground is not the way. Realize that good, strong boundaries are created through an alignment with and a knowing of self and one's place in one's environment, and not through fear. We must stop throwing the division card and the fear card at our awake and aware brothers and sisters, and realize that what they show you is not rejection of their fellow humans or fear of them, but integration, sovereignty, strength, self-empowerment, and self-awareness. So I discussed a lot of these concepts in the last video I did, so go back and watch that one if you haven't seen it. So I will just comment on that last bit. And I have noticed in the spiritual community that many people will say, that's division. You're doing that to divide, or you are being divisive by saying that. Or they will say, you're doing this through fear. We need to be empowered, not in fear. So all of that's true, as I said in the last video. But as I say here, we've got to stop throwing the division card and the fear card at our awake brothers and sisters. We need to unify with them now more than ever. So I have actually discussed this in the sort of last few videos I've done, but I just wanted to read that status out. So I'm now going to go to, oh, and I did post a pretty little picture of a fairy sprinkling some pixie dust, a pixie, sprinkling some pixie dust. And I wrote, or it says on the picture, all you need is faith, trust, and a little bit of pixie dust. And I posted that alongside this post, because there's nothing wrong with pixie dust or rainbows or butterflies or unicorns and all the beautiful high vibe 5D imagery. That's so important, but we are not giving ourselves over to it and losing ourselves, because all of these beautiful images are just presentations of our own DNA activation and open heart and chakra alignment. And they are flame letters within the DNA sacred cosmic alphabet, if you will. Rainbows, unicorns, especially. A unicorn is a very high vibrational symbol for peace and for humility, and also for purity. So all of these have symbolic meaning on a collective level, and many have been hijacked. The unicorn has been hijacked, the rainbow's been hijacked, but we are reclaiming our understanding of these symbols, and as we use them, we reclaim them and put them back into their rightful place as flame letters within this cosmic alphabet, this DNA language of light. They are light language symbols, if you will. And there are many forms of light language, such as sound and music and chanting and actual language in all of the different languages around the world, and also in the symbols of pixies and pixie dust and rainbows and unicorns. So that's important to say. I also posted a short status saying, surrounding everyone in this group, so this now extends to everyone listening to this video. I'm surrounding everyone watching this video right now with the love and protection of the powerful, sacred, hermetic seal that is the black flame, to be utilized when needed. So when you send that out as an intention, those who are receptive receive it. It's kind of like saying, I'm sending you healing, I'm sending you protection, I'm sending you love. And when you are receptive to receiving that and understanding that that person's genuinely doing that, then you connect with them in telepathic union and you go into gratitude. Thank you for your healing, your light, your energy. So I'm sending, you could send the violet flame, you could send stars and unicorns and fairies to someone as a symbol of love and connection and high vibe energy. So what I was posting here is sending everyone the love and protection of the powerful, sacred, hermetic seal that is the black flame, to be utilized when needed, because the black flame is a symbol to use intermittently, not all the time, which I've explained in previous videos, but it's so needed right now as the whole sort of Jezebel juice program is ramped up across the world. And talking about the Jezebel juice program, I did get some information from the 9 regarding another form of healing or antidote. I posted that up on my social media, and I very much wanted to present this in video form, so I'm glad that I'm able to do that now. So I will read this status out to you. Latest information from the 9 for all women who have made the choice to remain with a male partner who has been drinking the Jezebel apple juice, and for all females in close contact with Jezebel apple juice drinkers who have had moon cycle disruption. This information is not for pregnant women or those intending to be pregnant. However, for all non-pregnant females, then please see the Edgar Cayce castor oil packs treatment for cervical cancer. He intuitively brought this information forward for the treatment of cervical cancer. But the 9 are telling me this will assist in moon cycle disruption, as the frequency of cancer and the AI rogue signal are similar. However, they're not the same. So the castor oil pack treatment doesn't need to be undertaken anywhere near as frequently as a cancer patient would need to do. So simply reduce down the frequency from Edgar Casey's original teachings on cervical cancer treatment. Now, this is only for those women already experiencing symptoms of moon cycle disruption that they intuitively know is caused by the rogue signal from others, or for women who are in intimate relationships with men who are receiving a physical substance from their partner. So this information came through to me because I was actually asking the nine. I'd been hearing that women were going through this and having moon cycle disruption. And I just asked, is there anything that can be done? So the whole sort of cancer thing here, when the nine say that the signal is similar, what they mean is this is a rogue signal. It is a signal that is outside of the normal organic pattern for life. The signal goes rogue into an anti-life pattern. So the signal for cancer is not the same as the signal for coming from, the rogue signal coming from the Jezebel apple juice drinkers. The signals are totally different, but they're both rogue signals. They're both outside of a normal organic pattern. They have their own unique pattern, their own unique intelligence. So cancer is more organic, but organic that's gone rogue. And the rogue signal is more artificial intelligence that's been created to deliberately go rogue. Okay. But they're similar in the respect that they're not organic. That's why the castor oil packs work. So this information came through from Edgar Casey in one of his readings. And he gives the castor oil pack treatment for multiple different things as a remedy. The way it's to be used is the same as cervical cancer because of the similarity and the fact that it's a rogue signal. But I don't know if I wrote that actually in here. I just said here, simply reduce down the frequency. So what the nine actually said was, the amount of time you would need to do this is about a third of what you would do if you were following Edgar Casey's teachings for cervical cancer. So I don't have the amount of times that is. I would say to you, if you're interested, if this is affecting you, if you are in a relationship with an apple juice drinking male, go out there and discover Edgar Casey's teachings about the castor oil packs, and find the teaching for cervical cancer and reduce it by a third. Now, other questions that came up with this is, do men need to do this? What happens with men that are with a female who has been drinking the apple juice? The answer is no, actually. You don't need to do this. The reason being is women are receptacles, so they receive and hold energy, physical energy. And even if there's no physical energy taking place here, they're still receiving and holding energy because they're receptacles, they're receivers. Men are givers of energy. It is far less of a problem for a non Jezebeled male to be with a Jezebeled female. It's still not advisable, I must say, but it's your choice. You are in less of a risk in that situation because you are giving energy. If anything, you're potentially healing your partner. It works the other way round. You're giving healing rather than receiving harm. Sadly, when you're a woman, that's the job you have. You are a receptacle. I'm going to look into other different gender situations. So if you are a homosexual male and you are receiving energy, physical energy, then you would be needing to do something to transmute that energy. You wouldn't need to do this because this is for the womb. You don't have a womb, but you're still receiving energy. So I would do some form of transmutation, some form of cleansing. I would use the crystals. I would, get these sprays, drink we have pine needle tea that's been suggested by many people that hasn't come from the nine, but it's been suggested by others. I believe Anthony William suggested thyme tea. That hasn't come from the nine, but the nine have confirmed to me that Anthony William is accurate in his information, which would suggest that time T is accurate. The nine have also confirmed to me that David Wolfe is accurate in his information, and he has endorsed the pine needle tea. So that's why I'm presenting this here. So for a male who is receiving energy in a homosexual relationship, you don't necessarily need to do the castor oil packs, but you would do something that's resonating with you if you are receiving energy from a partner that's been, Jezebeled. Obviously, my advice is to not be in these relationships, but I'm not telling you what to do, and I'm not telling you to leave your partner because of this. That must be your choice. It's really important for you to know that I'm not telling you to leave your partner. I would never tell anyone to leave their partner. It's got to come from you. But my advice is to have as little interaction as you can with the Jezebel juice. But I understand that that's not always practical in the real world, and you have your own boundaries. One person might decide, I will never have a relationship with a Jezebel person. That's my boundary, and I'm not going to break it. That's my boundary as Magenta. But that's personal to me. You don't have to do the same thing, because you might think, well, I love this person. I'm going to have to understand that they've made the choice to be Jezebel and I'm not, but I'm not going to leave them. So that's just as valid. It's your boundary. So I'm not telling you to leave your partner. I'm just giving you the information as to what I would do or what my boundary is. But I'm not in a position where I'm with a Jezebel partner, thankfully. If I was, I wouldn't be with that person, I have to say. And luckily, I'm not in the situation to ever have to make that decision, because we both feel exactly the same way. And I'm, pleased about that. But I totally understand that there are people who are in completely different situations. So let's look at two women. So two homosexual women. Again, you're both receivers, and you can play around with energy. Obviously, one of you can give and the other receive in your own personal private way, but you're not receiving in the way a female is when she's with a male. You may receive energy, but it's still not going to be given to you in the way a male gives energy to you. So personally, I don't feel you would need to do the castor oil packs if you are a homosexual female with a macinated a macinated or Jezebel female. I don't think you need the castor oil packs. But the caveat to that is trust your own intuition on this, because it really depends what kind of energy you are working with. Different couples will have different energy patterns between them, and they will shift those energy patterns between them. But if you are predominantly sort of receiving energy and your partner's giving energy, as I said, it won't be the same as with a male. If you feel intuitively you need to do these packs, then do these packs, because you have a womb, but you are not holding energy in the same way. Right, let's look at other. So let's say we have a transgender female. Yes, I would do the packs if you are a transgender female, and I will explain why. You may not have a physical womb, but you will have an energetic womb. This is something that many people who are not transgender, they don't understand, and they will turn around to trans women and say, you're not a woman because you don't have a womb. Actually, that's not true. Yes, they do. If a transgender woman is fully in alignment with being female, they will have an energetic womb. So I would do the pack, the castor oil pack treatment if you are a transgender female with a Jezebel partner who is male. If you're a transgender female with a female partner, then you're in the same situation as a female homosexual couple. You aren't receiving the energy in the same way as if you were with a male. So I hope I've covered all of the different, genders, because obviously we're looking at the physical body here. And, I'm not judging any gender. I'm simply looking here at how can you help yourself with, I'm looking here at the Jezebel and the non-Jezebel. Let me just look at gender neutral individuals. If you are a gender neutral individual who is a physical female with a physical male, regardless of your identity, I would potentially do this. But if you're a gender neutral female, you do tend to, if you are resonating in that field, in a really powerful, sovereign, focused way with intention, then your female womb won't be the same as a female who is anchored in the feminine, because you have chosen to be gender neutral. So you neutralize your energy field, if you will. So again, trust your intuition on this. What do you resonate with? Do you feel you need to do this or not? um I would say that I'm speaking to a minority of individuals, because I think the majority of individuals are going to be with partners who are the same as them and have chosen not to drink this juice. But there are individuals who are in a, myriad of different relationships and different blends of relationships that will be with partners who have chosen to take the apple juice. So obviously, um, this is there to assist you with another form of healing. It's not going to be foolproof. It's not necessarily going to protect you fully, but it might. Every single one of you is different, and you've got to work with your own knowing, your own resonating, your own energy work, the black flame, the crystals, the sprays, whatever it is you're doing. We can only do the best that we can align with, and be aware that it doesn't always necessarily work the way you think that it will. I mean, somebody wrote to me today saying that they've done all the black flame work from the very beginning. They've worn the crystals, that they've done everything, but they've been told by an energy worker that they have actually got energy within them that is from the Jezebel juiced individuals. And they don't understand why that's happened when they've been following all the black flame work. Well, I have said in the previous videos that the black flame work and the crystals are not foolproof. They're not 100%, because it's to do with the amount of time you are exposing yourself to the rogue signal. So let's just take something as an example. Let's take cars as an example. I'm using that because it's my own personal journey. I'm extremely EMF sensitive. I have been looking for a new vehicle, and it's been so difficult to find one that I can actually drive without having EMF reactions. I am driving one at the moment, which I'm fine with, but it's manual and I need to switch to an automatic. And I'm really struggling to find an auto, but that's a whole other story. So let's just use the car as a metaphor and my journey as a metaphor. If I decide I'm going to look for a car. If I decide to test drive a car, and I test drive a car, say once every 4 days, then yes, I'm going to have a terrible, well, okay, I may have a terrible reaction. I'm not going to put that on me, but it's happening. So say I have a bad reaction, and I'm, got all these typical symptoms that I have when I know that I have been in an EMF field. That gives me 4 days to integrate, recover, to do all of the work that I'm doing. And whilst I might feel terrible for an hour or 24 hours or 3 days, depending on how powerful the engine was and how new the car was and how much tech was in it or whatever, no matter how bad I feel, I'm taking sort of a break between each test drive, say 4 or 5 days or a week or whatever, to get back to normal and feel good and be EMF free and use my sea salt baths and my crystals and my spiritual work and foods and whatever it is I need to do to come back into alignment away from the EMF symptoms, and I come back to alignment. So that's my exposure. I am limiting or balancing my exposure to that which I know harms me, and that I am not able to prevent totally. Neither do I want to, because I need to know what is in the environment that is something that I need to navigate through or stay away from. Now, let's just say I decided to test drive 2 cars a day, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, and they all were affecting me. So what I would have is an accumulated buildup of EMF energies around me with the reacting symptoms. And each time I went to test drive a new car, I hadn't healed myself from the last EMF symptoms, then I'm going to put myself into a place where I'm going to get worse and worse and worse. And no amount of crystals and spiritual work is going to protect me from getting into a car that I know I'm going to have physical symptoms. And I'm talking about feeling sick, having terrible migraine headaches, exhaustion, and loads of other symptoms. So this isn't just something that I'm imagining that's out in the world. Oh, I'm imagining a scary spider and it's made me feel terrible. This isn't a car. This is a vehicle. This is a motor vehicle that's full of electrical signals that everyone is going to be bringing into their field and into their body. But I'm one of the individuals that can feel it and I respond to it with symptoms. So if I were to test drive 2 cars a day, I would be putting myself in a dangerous situation or in a silly situation. So I have to balance myself and think, okay, how often can I test drive a car without suffering so badly that I'm not able to recover in between? Once a week, once every 2 weeks? At the moment, it's, and that's for me to decide how often I can test drive a car. The same thing is there with the Jezebel juice. How often are you going to be in close contact? Are you going to be in close contact every day within a relationship? And can you manage that? Do you have the ability to focus that within your fields with the crystals and within the sprays? So this person who said to me, I've done the crystals, I've worn all the black crystals, I've done the black flame, and I still have energetic accumulation and potential damage from this rogue signal, as I've been told by an energy worker. Well, it depends on A, your sensitivity, B, your exposure. So it might be that one person, let's take 2 women, one's called Jane and one's called Susie. Jane sees one vaccinated person a week and just spends half an hour with her. And she accumulates rogue signal issues and has to work with it. And wearing the black crystals and working with the black flame isn't enough for her. She's highly sensitive, and that's how it is with Jane at that time. So Jane then has to take that on board and decide that she needs to work with this in the future with perhaps a healer to help her to perhaps become stronger. Or maybe Jane decides, I'm not supposed to be around these individuals. I can't be around them for longer than half an hour. I mean, this is a rare situation, but I'm using this as an example. Or we've got Susie, who works with vaccinated people, Jezebel people, who is in a relationship with a Jezebel person. She wears her black crystals and does the black flame work, and she's absolutely fine, and she doesn't have any residue. Again, that's rare. I'm looking at the complete 2 extremes. It's somewhere in the middle. What is real for us, for all of us who are aware and organic and Jezebel free? It's somewhere in the middle. So this is what I'm trying to say. The black flame is a tool and it's powerful. The black crystals ground that, but it isn't going to be foolproof if you are going to do what my example of test driving 2 cars a day. I'd be putting myself in a dangerous situation or a silly situation. I'm not going to put myself in that situation. I have to navigate my reality using all the faculties I have, intuition, intelligence, everything. We have to make these decisions for ourselves. And this is what we are being called to do right now. We are all being tested on our spiritual matrix and the construction of that architecture. We're being tested so that we can ascend. And tested is the wrong word. It's not a big test. It's not like there's a big guru god out there saying, I'm testing you all. You've failed, you've passed. It isn't that. I'm not sure what other word to use. We are all being called to step up into this organic creation of who we truly are. We're all being guided or led, or whatever word you want to use. We are all living our destiny. And there are things that we need to do, and we need to learn to navigate these different dimensional situations and these physical situations within the third dimension. So that's the situation with the black flame. It is a tool, it is assistance, the same with the crystals. But you still have to work with your spiritual energy, and you still have to make sensible decisions in your life, which I can't make for you. I'm inundated with emails from people saying, what can I do about this situation? What can I do about that? And they will tell me the situation they're in, like, can their child go to school because the teacher's been Jezebeled? Or should I work as a massage therapist when my clients have been Jezebeled? Or should I go to a massage therapist who's been Jezebeled when I haven't? Or, you know, there are just a myriad of different permeations of relationships between people, and it's there with everyone because it's a hijacking that has worked to an extent. It has not worked fully, and it will not. However, it's worked to a point, and we're all in a unique situation. So I do hope that my perspective here and the teachings from the nine are helping you to navigate through this situation at the moment, and helping you to make your own decisions and create your own boundaries, because I can't tell you what decision to make. I can't tell you what boundary you must have, or how to even live within that boundary. I can only give you the benefit of my own perspective and the teachings from the nine. So I do hope that that's helping you somewhat. And I will continue to go through these statuses that I've been posting for the last few weeks in further videos. So thank you so much for listening. I'll see you again soon. Bye.